Nothing weighs heavier on us than a secret. This is the This is the Me and Mary Jane After Show. Welcome. Let's get into it.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AfterBuzz TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Yeah.
I will be by your side. Melatonin today.
Okay, Ronnie.
Welcome everybody to the Me and Mary Jane After Show here on AfterBuzz TV Network. I am one of your hosts, Howard III. You can follow me on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook at Howard III. Miss Elle Marie, where can we find you?
You guys can find me on Instagram and on Twitter at ElMarieTV.
Yeah, joining the team at Randomly RJ. How are you? Thank you for having me. I like your flower shirt. We're both wearing flower shirts. How about that?
Theme. I'm loving it.
How about that, Mary Jane? All right.
Yes. I almost forgot. That's Ronnie, RJ.
Yeah.
Welcome. He's now a part of the team, everybody.
Well, it's a show worthwhile of talking about. I mean, a lot going on. We always love seeing Mary Jane be so successful in her career, but a complete mess and all the complications. So I saw you guys last week and I wanted to join. So if that's okay with both of you. I've known Elle Marie for a smidge, and before her name was Elle Marie, actually. Anyways, thank you. What's up?
Same.
Yes. Well, all right. So let's get into this. Feeling exposed is tonight's episode, and everybody was definitely exposed. All the secrets were just coming out on each character, which I was loving. Yeah. I want to open it up here with Kara finding out that MJ is sleeping with Justin. Well, she didn't know they were sleeping, but that there's something going on a little bit like that. And we kind of knew this was going to happen. She blows up, of course, Kara does, and she ain't feeling it.
No,
she
not
ain't
at all.
happy at all.
Which, I mean, I can kind of agree with Kara a little bit because, Justin put them through a lot. I mean, Justin put MJ through a lot. He's the reason she got fired from when she had that CNN job, which was, before the show started, but they would always go back to that. And then he comes in back into their lives and then gets Kara fired. So I can understand her frustration. But then on the flip side with Mary Jane, even though some people may not agree with this relationship with her and Justin, it's like, but you can't help who you love. It's always that little excuse, like, you can't help who you fall for. You know what I mean? And if right now Mary Jane is smitten by him and she's totally into it. So sometimes it's like, be mad, but do you be supportive for your friend that maybe she's happy? Maybe
Meaning
even
Kara?
if you don't agree. Yeah, the Kara be like, even if she doesn't agree with it, but MJ seems like she's happy in this moment.
Kara's also hurt because Kara really is the longest accountable friend, almost a relationship in her own right. So, I mean, there's just the dishonesty and the loyalty that really bugged her the most. And I want to say, yes, I agree with you where you're like, oh, let me back up, let me take my feelings away and be happy for my friend Mary Jane. But I don't know, I would feel very much the same way Kara felt. I would be like, it was just so complicated because even Kara was involved, with the losing of the job or whatever. So it hurt. It hurt as a viewer, Yeah.
Poor Kara. I mean, she's doing her best, She's up here, she just wants to be senior producer, have a good friend, have a good relationship, and it's like everybody keeps really hurting her. I love that when she went home and she talked to Orlando and she said, babe, I just had a long day. Found out my best friend is sleeping with the enemy pretty much. Yeah. And he was just like, listen, babe, everything's okay. Everything's going good. And I love that she told Orlando, listen, why don't you try to butter up Garrett for me? I want to get on his good side. Take him out with your boys. See how he feels. I love that she just put him out there. She said, take your boys in. Yeah. Take your boys, take my boss, butter him up.
Right.
Would y'all do that? If y'all
I love how she convinced him too, like, this could work for both of us.
Exactly.
Like, you know what I mean? So it's not like just go do, something for me, even though like you should. I'm, giving you cookies every night. Yeah. You can go ahead and do a little favor for me, but that she convinces him, and which it will maybe hopefully work for him in the long run. Like he says, when baseball is over, what are you gonna do next? So
and it didn't seem at all. It didn't seem at all contrived either. I felt like as much it was her interest, it was also Orlando's interest, and I like the good accountability that Orlando's so great as a sounding board for her. I was actually not knowing where Kara would land, in this in these feelings that she was going through, because I was wondering if she would go on a destructive path. You know, New York City is her home.
Right.
So, and we know that she's not with her children because I believe they're still in Atlanta, right? So I like, he brings, even though it's like a weird unconventional thing where it's like her house and it's like frat style or whatever, there's something that we like about having Orlando there for her. Like there's some solid base, you know, it's her home base for some, you know, no pun intended. Isn't he a baseball player? Yeah. There you go. Yeah. And he's a great interview, by the way. Nicholas Gonzalez, I just interviewed him maybe about a month and a half ago, and he's always working on different projects. And I was like, oh, by the way, I do watch The Being Mary Jane. So obviously it's like not probably his biggest project or whatever, but like he was a cool guy. So I like to see him with Lisa Vidal. Yeah. Yeah.
We should try to get him on here. If you still have that
Amazing.
connection.
Maybe sometime we will try that.
let's try that.
But then we got to get Lisa Vidal on here too, and we get everybody.
Back. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yes, definitely. Because, you know, I love Lisa. I love Lisa in general. When she was here, it was like, oh, girl. I was like fangirling out because she's a nice person.
Yeah.
And I love her, especially.
Oh, did you have her here?
Yeah, we had her there this season.
Oh, what'd you tell her? What'd you ask her?
Listen,
That is
I was in awe. So I was over here I literally froze up because I was like, I love her. But when I had the other girls on here, Megan and Allie was here, they were asking her questions, everything about what was going on with the show. She was a really good interview. She gave us great feedback about how, like, all the behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Well, she plays a good Kara, and this episode, it was like a stank face Kara, which was great though.
Yeah.
Very worth the while though, I thought.
Do we like Kara like this? A little more aggressive. How she let Mary Jane pretty much know, one, we are not friends anymore.
Yeah, that hurt my heart.
Exactly.
You two are too sweet, really?
When friends break up, that hurts.
It does.
Sad.
And especially see
Oh,
Kara like
gosh.
this. She was mad.
I am not in the mix right now. I thought opposite. I thought people do that all the time. Like, you know, it's like Kara is allowed to hold her anger towards this situation. Like, she's being cordial. That doesn't mean you're going to sweep it under the rug, Mary Jane. Like, I don't even think Kara's telling Mary Jane to be accountable for everything. It's more like, give me some time. So I personally, I don't know. Maybe I just got in the mindset of Kara where if that was me, I'd be able to be like, listen, let's slow down. I don't need to be all in your life again.
But she was like, we're done. She didn't.
Yeah.
There's a difference between.
I don't think so.
But I'm saying that's what she said. So there's a difference in being like, in having situations sometimes where you get into it with your friends and you're just like, give me a moment. You're not, I'm done with you. You're like, give me a moment. Because normally when you're done.
Did she say
you're
we're done? We're done?
Yeah.
No.
Towards the end, when she was in the blue
did.
dress,
I mean, I know the words
and
were.
she was walking out. She's like, no, because we are done.
I thought the interpretation was opposite. I thought it was like, I know she technically did say we're done, but they've been done before. So I kind of thought it was a loosey-goosey, like.
Yeah, but I think before they've been upset with each other and they've had that moment where it's like, well, I understand. Let me just give her some time, and she'll be back around. With this situation, I feel like even MJ may feel like, whoa,
I messed up.
Yeah,
Right.
like I got to get her back, type of thing. You know what I mean? There's a difference between, all right, I'll let her cool off. I'll call her in 3 days versus let me send her some flowers, her favorites, because I got to get her back.
Yeah, because this one was really sad. I mean, in Kara's eyes, Justin is the enemy. Like, you're sleeping with the enemy, and you're not going to tell me? And I'm supposed to be your girl? Come on. Like, you.
He said, come on.
Like she said, you didn't tell me because you knew or you felt like you were doing something wrong.
Exactly.
So she's hurt and upset. So yeah, she's done.
This is a tough one. This is very tough. And I love what Kara said when she was leaving the office, when she was like, that's the thing about making so many enemies. You don't know who stabbed you in the back. Because Mary Jane doesn't know who told. And for Mary Jane to just be like, listen, did you tell Garrett? Blah, blah, blah. Like, I love how Kara was like, are you serious? Like, girl, you still I'm not going to disrespect you.
That was like above insulting too.
But I don't know, not really, because Kara had a moment where she was talking about, I would hate for Garrett to find out, you know, and then MJ was like, you wouldn't, and she gave this look like, try me, but don't put it past me.
I know, but I do feel like Kara was completely insulted. Like, yeah, I know that she got snooty with her earlier on in the episode, but I do feel like she was like, really, Mary Jane? Yes, we had our whole issue, but like, you really are gonna judge me in that way? And yeah, it was a tough one. It was a tough one, and it makes me wonder if Mary Jane is gonna have a limit. Like, yes, she has the success. She's where Rhonda was, but at what cost? Like, I wonder if she's gonna have a light bulb moment where it's like, maybe he wasn't the right guy for me to begin with. I'm losing my friend. I'm not with my family in Atlanta. Not saying that's what she wants, but like I feel like it might be maybe a light bulb moment because everything she's doing is done with this jackass Justin. I mean, he's not a jackass, but I'm just not. I was more Team Lee than Team Justin, you see, and so I personally. I want to know what it's going to be like now that he's out of town because her thoughts are going to be her thoughts. They're not going to be driven by two things: sex and power. Because that's what she was, right? She was New York City sex and power, and we have all been in that hunt, I guess. But you know, Niecy has too.
She sure has. I mean, speaking of Niecy, let's talk about how she turned this whole trip about her. She's supposed to be going down there, you know, getting the scoop for grandma. She really up there. Oh, let me see. Akil is his name up there. Getting it in with Akil, walking around the park, hurting her feet. She's supposed to be up there, you know, getting the info. Niecy's still sneaky, but I love that about Niecy.
Were you happy to see her in New York? Like, you like the whole concept?
I like the whole thing. I mean, I hate that she went above and beyond to lie to the grandma to get her up there, but I love that she went up there and looked like she might have found love or at least a strong like.
Yeah, he did seem like a decent guy, and I was like, oh, I take my comments back from last week when I was like, you know, New York felt like he's trifling.
What'd you say last week?
Because she was going through like all the like Tinder, I guess, or whatever, and just swiping left, like everyone looked trifling or whatever in Atlanta, and then so she's like, oh. I'm going to change my location to New York. And then I was like, he looks trifling too. Like New York, Timberlands, blah, blah, blah. But now he seems like grounded. He's a, you know, struggling artist, but he's still young enough to be a struggling artist, to me, in my opinion. You know, Niecy's like, he doesn't have a job. His place is so small. But like he said, he was smart. Like, hey, I paint or whatever or fix some things to pay the rent. So that gives him time to work on his craft. Like, you got to see beyond that, Niecy. Like,
well, and it showed in the scene, too, like her with the heels at Central Park. And she became so judgmental. You know, she even called out her auntie, you know, who's been such a light in her life, talking about this apartment is horrible. And even, you know, Mary Jane had to be like, listen, this is what it is in Atlanta. This is what it is here in New York. I really liked the whole Niecy thing because I felt like half of the episode I was upset with her. Like, oh, very judgmental. Niecy, you know, slow your roll on you know, on Tinder or whatever it is. You're not a prize package as well. And I'm not talking about physicality. I'm talking about, don't she have two baby fathers? So let's slow down with the judgment. But I really found that, like, towards the end of the episode, I mean, it was that even if she hasn't found out what ignited her, she's questioning it, and that is what I need from Niecy. You know,
definitely.
And
her father's still doing good right now, right? He's not.
Yeah, as far as we know.
As far as we know, they have. Yeah.
So far, everything's so good. I'm worried about some off the rails with that, but okay.
But and I feel like MJ grounded her and brought her back, you know, because she was like, calling the guy broke or whatever, and then Mary Jane's like, well, what are you? You know, you got your feelings hurt because you thought you were gonna come out here, get a baller or someone and take care of you and things like that.
She said, "Yeah, you're gonna get a sugar daddy, and then your problems are over." Doesn't work like that.
It does not work that way. And then it's like, but you know, work with him. And then when I am glad that she took the painting to Mary Jane to show her, and then kind of Mary Jane was like, well, this is nice. He has talent and things like that. And even if Niecy continues this relationship with him, you know, her eyes are now open to like, okay. You know, maybe he has some potential here because he seemed like a nice guy and a gentleman, better than the other two guys she's dated recently.
Definitely.
The baby daddies, like.
Yeah, because you know Niecy don't know how to pick men. Definitely
She's like
not.
an auntie, no.
Just running the family, it's in the blood. But and I love how Niecy and MJ sat down and was like, Niecy was like, okay, so what's going on? You know, I got to tell grandma a little bit. And as soon as she asked that, here goes Justin on FaceTime. Next thing you know, Niecy, your boss calls you on FaceTime?
Right.
Like, how does that work? It's about work? Okay, all right. And then at the end of the episode, we see that Niecy catches on and is like, okay, what you want me to tell grandma?
Right,
because Blue Eyes is in with you. Like, I love how she just caught on. She just knew.
Oh, yeah, right away.
It's in the blood.
Yeah.
They both knew. And speaking of in the workplace, we were also introduced to Danny again, the YouTube star, who's kind of like, who would we say, Tommy?
Like a Tommy Lahren,
Yeah, a little bit.
Well,
like,
I mean, that's kind of, but it's also, she's her own little brand of stuff as well. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
She's something else, you know? I said, okay, I'm interested to see her character. I was a little hesitant to see another new character come in, you know, such mid-season, but I'm interested. I'm invested.
It seemed like Garrett took a big liking to all of that. Like he like stirred the pot a little bit
Yeah.
as the boss.
Right.
You know. What did you guys think about that situation?
You know, Garrett, he's trying to do whatever he can do to save
Yeah, that-
Garrett's job.
Yes.
He
Yeah.
thinks about him and himself, and he doesn't care if you like it or not. I personally think it was a great idea, even though I don't know if I like this character, Danny, yet. It was a great idea to bring her on because she does have the views and everything's so social media nowadays. I just don't know. I think it might come back to bite him in the butt.
Well, I like the way
Yeah,
that. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
I like the
was
way.
just gonna say it might.
Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I like the way Justin said we can't squash the conversation. Like just because Danny is so different than everybody in that room, like there is a reason certain things have happened in the last year or two. So to not acknowledge like those feelings, it may not behoove you. So as much, it's just something that I've been starting to see even when I watch television or news or whatever. Like we can't turn our backs to this other viewpoint. I wasn't a big fan of the girl Sandra Curtis. Sandra Curtis with the short hair. My gosh, doesn't look like she's liked a penis in her entire life. But that is just my taking of this said situation. Sorry. Sorry. Back to you. Sorry, Mary Jane. Back to you. And that whole thing was just so disgusting, though. You know what I mean? Like, you have these people. It referred back, in my opinion, Anita Bryant in 1977. She was with in Florida, Dade County, and she was a huge anti-gay activist. She was a pageant girl to begin with, and she caused a lot of hiccups back in her day, too. And it's just always so hard that, like, to sit behind that Bible is the really confusing part for me, how the Bible can hold you to hate. Ouch. So that's what made it like worth watching, although it was kind of tough.
Yeah, and even in that scene, they had the little back and forth with Danny and Kara when Danny was saying, well, the Bible says this, and then Kara's like, well, the Bible also tells you not to judge. So and then you have that. You have both sides. Even within the Christian community, you have some people that are just gung-ho, like, no, it is in the Bible, it is wrong, I do not agree with it. And then you have the people that are on the other side, like, we're not supposed to judge. Like, it may be in the Bible that is wrong. This is also wrong, and you do that. This is also wrong, and you do that. So what makes the sins different? You know what I mean? So, yeah, you kind of have that controversy. But that was a good point. But like Justin said, so because you have that back and forth, you have a conversation about it. So you can't ignore it because it's being talked about.
And she did. So, Mary Jane rocked that interview.
Did a wonderful job.
That's one of the better. I mean, this goes back to like 2 seasons ago. Like when remember they used to have those classic Mary Jane at what was the Atlanta studio again?
SMC.
Oh yeah.
We haven't had that very much in this new incarnation of the show. And that one I was like, not only did she come at her a little bit, Mary Jane did, but then she backed all the way up and said, "Oh my God, isn't that the part that got you?" She backed all the way up and was like, what does that backlash feel like? It must be. I thought the girl was gonna say something. I thought she was gonna like let it go, but either way, it was really good TV.
Because as she was going on, I was kind of writing like, "Oh, is MJ being the old MJ?" You know what I mean?
Yes, because it felt like that.
Yeah, because what's the name of the show?
GDU.
Yeah, the Good Day.
Good Morning America.
Yeah, right, exactly. But they didn't exactly want that. They have to they want MJ to tone it down a little bit. So I was getting a little bit nervous, like, oh, here we go. Don't do it, MJ. Like, I understand, you want to stay true to your roots, but that's not really what this network is about. But the fact that she's able to balance the two, like you said, she was going in and then she kind of pulled it back.
You guys, question to you, this is kind of off topic, but it seems like we're seeing like a better journalist in certain aspects because of all of this differences of opinion. Like I refer back to watching when Trevor Noah interviewed the actual Tommy Lahren. It takes like a different approach. Like it's not what you can't be combative to be successful in these situations. So I think Mary Jane, when I watched that clip of Mary Jane with this Sandra Curtis, it made me think of like when I didn't really like this Tommy Lahren for the most part, but I remember watching Trevor Noah's interview with her and being like, wow, he really he found so many great ways to kind of explain his side and also come at her nicely, but also like showcase like how did you derive at this situation? And she explained, and sometimes people will, they'll put their own foot in their mouth. So really it is okay. Exactly. But it was some great MJ moment, I thought.
It was really great. I was like, you know what? This even made me love Gabrielle Union even more because she is, in that moment, I was like, she's always been a great actress to me. But in that moment of the interview, I was like, This is dialogue. Like she is
Yeah.
giving everything in this one scene. I mean, both ladies did a great job. Her and whoever the lady who was who played Sandra Curtis, but Mary Jane did a great job. She kicked butt. And I thought it was funny how she even let Danny have it after the interview.
Oh, yes.
Because Danny thought
What
she
did
was.
Danny say? What did she get smart?
She was slick. Danny tried to give a little tips to Sandra when Sandra said even people in the African American community may be criticized for being Christian or something to that point. And so Mary Jane said, if you want to give tips, make sure you're on the right side of the Wonder Bread, okay?
Right.
I like the way you
Southern
reenact.
accent.
Do you like the way he reenacted that? Did you see do the finger again? He hit the okay and all the click and the yep. You did very well on that one. Mary Jane is sitting here in the studio right now. That's wonderful.
I love that because MJ was like, you ain't slick.
Right.
You know, I've been around here.
Does this make her a better reporter, you guys? Because she has all this mess. Like, I'm starting to think about something. Like, when she's in love, when she's getting treated well, when she's like going for this goal of being the anchor woman, like, I don't know. But now that she has so much mess in her life, like, look at her turn on the reporting skills from yesteryear. I just thought about that right this second. Maybe, you know?
And it's definitely Justin.
It's
Ugh.
I know she like, but he really did bring out a lot.
You guys,
in there.
I wouldn't be comfortable with that situation though. He can't be your lover and your right hand. He's not the boss because the producer is not
right. It's not the boss, but like her right hand.
But if you think about it with her, she hasn't lost her confidence yet. But I do notice that I'm sick of seeing Mary Jane check and second guess herself. That's why him going away is going to be very interesting for me because she's become very codependent of this guy. Green eyes, whatever they want to call him.
But do you think so? Because I feel like she still sometimes stands in her own because they have their little back and forth, and she's just like still like, well, what's up? You know, just on a point of like him holding his word. Not necessarily. I feel like she's looking for his support, but like, yo, you said we were in this together. What's going on? You know, just kind of holding him accountable for that.
Yes.
I have something. Okay. Now I remember where the anger came from. Not anger, but I'm just, when I watch a TV show, I act like it's our friends.
Right, in real life, I do the same thing.
So do we have a problem, you guys? So he goes, oh, well, we could just go kick back, have pizza at your place, da-da-da-da. She goes, oh, my niece, Niecy is here. And then, like, it didn't go to, well, let's go to your house, Justin. So we have not seen.
True.
I mean, come on with the red flags,
point.
please.
When you said that, I was like, oh, that's a good point.
That is true.
Always a red flag if you're always at your house and not his house and never go to his house. Like, oh, what's over there?
I mean, have we not physically seen her at his place at all?
Haven't.
No, we
because
haven't.
his storyline.
Oh wait, was that her? No, that was still.
I'm sure the chat and all that stuff knows. His storyline was, I have a girl when they were going to get close, and he only came back into the picture when she was going to go with the director, which I feel bad for that director, by the way. He got left hanging.
Oh, he seemed like a nice guy.
So I wonder, like, it makes me think, does he still have somebody?
Oh, I would cut him.
I don't know. See, he's so sneaky. And it's just like, what? I want to know this little sneaky he's got. Because he has something in his back pocket. We know there's a whole other side to Justin. And maybe it is a girl. Maybe he has this whole big motive of how he's going to make it to the top. And just cut everybody as soon as he gets up there.
Do you guys know how skeptical I've even been, though? This is how bad of a person I am. I was even upset because he came back into the picture as, the enemy of Mary Jane, just to some degree, through Rhonda. So even though Rhonda is clear out the picture, in my Ronnie Jr.'s mind, I'm like, where's Rhonda? Who's the chess player? Like, what's I don't know. I just, when I see that's on, like, on social media and everything, everyone loves that Justin is like Justin Mary Jane. Everyone's on that team. I'm like, how could you guys be? I just don't trust it.
I'm biased because it's Michael Ealy and he's very handsome. I will say that because even in the earlier when we were talking about their relationship, and I just remembered about the whole CNN thing, that now I'm thinking like, well, wait. Could I really talk to you and forgive you when you got me fired too? You know, because I actually had kind of forgotten about that when I was so on their team until tonight. I was like, well, wait, I don't think I would have been able to forgive somebody for that. You know what I mean? So now I have mixed feelings about their relationship.
Did they ever hook up before, you guys?
No, because they were enemies.
They were real enemies. Like she hated that he came back, and like you said, she knew like he came, like Rhonda went and got him, you know, to get under her skin, to mess with her, and now they're lovers. But I forgot about all those points. It was the eyes.
I think that's what a lot of people.
The eyes and a smile. That's what it was.
But you know what, you guys, and this is like Michael Ealy stuff, not TV show stuff, Justin. I have a hard time with liking Michael Ealy versus Lee because remember when he did that movie with Taraji P. Henson and he was under the bed as the creeper?
Yeah.
And so those blue eyes were meant the killer.
With Sanaa Lathan.
Yeah. Oh, it was. Okay.
Oh, yes, it was with Sanaa.
Okay, but it was some kind of creeper movie where he was gonna kill somebody. So those blue eyes don't like. I don't see attraction.
He was sexy killer.
She ate it all up, and you spend your $15.99 and got your popcorn, and you put the box office with one extra point now, didn't you? Okay, I see. Because that's what's making. I'm feeling like he's just a creep. Okay, I'll move on. I'm sorry. Because you remember the trailer? Remember the trailer? He like swishes his head around, and then those blue eyes look right at you.
Right, they're so piercing. It's like, what are you gonna?
I'm just saying this. They could jump shark, and Mary Jane could be in some trouble. And
She really could though.
She could.
And she's probably like me, and she's really blinded by. She kind of fell for him, and I think it was also like that power. Now I feel like I want to go back and watch the first few episodes of the season because when they had their moment, because it was mostly them working together. I think that's what it was. So when they started to work together to kind of take over Rhonda, because I guess Rhonda stabbed him in the back.
Right.
Yes, she did.
You're right.
So then it became, them kind of working together and their chemistry. And then you kind of feeding off of that. When you're bouncing off of someone creatively and this is your drive, this is what you love to do, and you kind of find someone you mesh well with that. That's of the opposite sex, because she kind of has that with Kara, but that's her, her best friend.
right. They're like a
So
music
when you
act.
have it,
Yeah.
it's like, whoa, you know what I mean? So
It's Kesha and Dr. Luke, like they have to work together.
yeah.
Yeah.
And they were surprised by how well they did work together. And so now I guess it's like water under the bridge for them. Like I said, I'm thinking like, I don't know if I would be able to forgive you for that.
know.
But I guess for Mary
Guys.
Jane, it's water under the bridge now. And
It's so weird to me seeing both alpha people just working together, working it out. But I mean, we even see in this episode, they still bump heads. They're still not. He wanted to go with the Sandra Curtis story, and she wanted to go with something completely different, which was, the Bond girl. And it's just like, can you guys really work together? You're both strong-headed.
yeah.
Like, how does
he
that work?
Unfortunately, he made good points though.
He did.
He did.
And I hate that that's how TV is. Like, I hate that. Like, I don't even like that concept where it's like, oh, so-and-so's the shittiest person. I'm not saying anyone was shitty in this situation. Well, I mean, I didn't like those Sandra Curtis opinions. But I'm saying TV has become like, oh, it doesn't matter. As long as it's a shit show, it's okay because it's going to bring the ratings. Like,
Right, and the viewers.
I'm just
and
not
all
a big
that.
fan of that. So as much as he's right, it's like, where are we going to like draw the line of integrity a little bit,
Exactly.
Not this show, but
I think integrity in this day and age is just gone.
Can I ask you guys, or tell
Every
you,
aspect of life. Sorry.
it's very true. One thing I was happy about, as much as I'm on Kara's side over Mary Jane in this situation, I think it's good that Mary Jane now has somebody to confide in, being Niecy, with the guy, because she was dealing with all that with no. You know what it's like when you're like The Secret. She's having a secret affair with her producer. And I just feel a little bit more relaxed that Mary Jane can bounce off these ideas with Niecy.
I feel like she's not even gonna tell Niecy.
She told her.
I mean, she told her, but I don't even think she's gonna keep Niecy in the loop, because Niecy still to me looks like she would flab, like go right back to grandma and be like, "Well, she told me this, and this." I feel like Niecy might spill the tea.
Too much, yeah.
So
I
that
think she'll
means
keep her just a little.
Wait.
just a little bit.
So you're saying Mary Jane's in New York City at the anchor desk, dealing with this entire secret that, of course, is not really a secret anymore, but without no confidant? Oh, that's not going to end
it's
well.
not gonna be Niecy.
Yeah, it's
She
not.
might
She'll
find
tell
someone,
her,
but I don't think it's
little
gonna be
things,
me.
but she's not gonna just let it all out to Niecy.
Maybe the PR girl who they met with in the diner, who they set up the chats with,
because she's kind of
Leah or
Leah. She's kind of building a little
little
bond
bit.
with her,
Right,
so
because-
it could be her, or sometimes it happens and you don't have anyone to kind of confide
That's
in.
true.
Are you secretly
And-
doing something with somebody?
Not right now,
Okay.
but it's
Because you could always talk to
Hey,
us.
I've been there.
been in that boat. All right, I was driving it.
So hey, you just kind of like have to deal with it and keep it in until you can talk about it. Which now
Gotcha.
we know that, since she was exposed, her and Justin, that she can now talk to someone about it. Well, actually, no, because she doesn't have anybody to talk to about it. Kara doesn't want to hear about her.
Kara
issues 'cause
definitely
she's
doesn't want to hear
mad.
about it. Yeah.
She doesn't want to talk to her mom because she doesn't want her mom to know it in her
Exactly.
business. She's gonna judge. The mom is probably not gonna be a fan of Justin. So yeah, we're back at square one. If she still won't have anyone to talk to, in my opinion.
I just cannot believe it. And then another thing that got me, I know we touched on it a little bit, but as soon as Garrett found out about Mary Jane and Justin being together, Garrett was like, nope, this can't happen for me. Yes, you know, office romances happen, but with the execs looking at me, this ain't going down. So,
And is this after Garrett got some ass? Finally, we have not seen Garrett.
yes, let's
Garrett
talk about
had hooked
Garrett,
it
when he
all.
went out with the
Garrett got
boys.
And
that.
I was in a thought process of asexual. I wasn't really understanding Garrett's age, orientation, and nothing.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
you know, it was so good to see him on the prowl,
letting it
corny.
loose.
Did we in the moment? I felt like they were like, were the friends gonna set him up some kind of way with the girl?
That's
in
what
the
I
moment?
thought.
Like,
That's
I
what I
felt like
thought, too.
this is not gonna end well.
Yeah.
But I guess everything was okay besides the fight, and he was excited about that. Getting in the fight.
So what
Getting
happened?
his
So he
butt
got in the
whooped.
fight, and then she ended up hooking up with him because she like felt sorry for him or whatever.
That's
Maybe,
what
yeah,
Orlando
that's what he
said.
said. Like a pity.
Can you picture that for 1 second? The little Garrett, and then her she had a nice rotund
Oh, she was
thing.
doing everything.
I know.
My prediction for him, I mean, he must have came very quickly. Like there was just no way. I don't imagine Garrett like really putting it down. I feel like that's why he's so angry at the office all the time because you know he
All
had,
that pent up.
yeah
I
he's
would
not.
love to see a little bit more about Garrett's life, though.
Yeah,
Like,
maybe
what-
we will
what's at
now.
home?
Maybe he'll hang out with Orlando a little bit more. And
Not that this means anything, but I want to know why he's so young with that high-powered job. And maybe he's not young, but like he's portrayed as a very young guy. And you got Rhonda, you got Aaron, like all these big hitters. And why? How? Like, is he a snake? I mean, because we always kind of feel like he might be. Just like a little curious thing that, like, once we saw more of his life, it made me think, how did you get here?
Yeah.
You know, what game did you run to make that situation happen for your life?
Maybe they'll open that up.
I mean, maybe he's old. I don't know, but he looks really young, right, guys?
Yeah.
he looks young. Yeah.
Maybe they'll show us, because that's interesting. Like, what's going on? Who's
Yeah, to
at
be in that
home?
position. Yeah. He looks young.
Very, very high power position. But I just love how he was like, listen, Mary Jane, you guys, this can't happen here. Pretty much, Justin, you need to go to Kansas and work on an assignment out there, and we will see if you will come back or not. We might keep you in Kansas. We might find some other work for you, but you cannot be here.
Yeah, and you can't work with Mary Jane. Like, took him off all their stories, so now their little
Exactly.
dynamic duo thing is over.
It's just like, really, Garrett? Like, do you have to go that far? That far and
But let's
extend?
also talk about Aaron, because he was the one that
Yes.
exposed them. Now, at first, I felt like, okay, because when he commented on Mary Jane, on her ass, and Justin didn't really do anything, because I was like, I'm thinking like, Justin, don't go off.
Yeah.
Don't expose yourself.
That's what I was thinking,
Don't do
too.
anything. And it was quite the opposite, because he didn't. Then Aaron was like, oh, something's going on here. I'm like, who? I
Who
wouldn't
would
have
put,
thought
I
that.
know, a
right?
real
Who-
creep, because
was
Aaron
gonna
has been
say.
sleeping with everybody,
Right,
so that's the
he-
only reason.
So he probably knows he knows
He
the
knows
game.
the ins and outs, because he don't
That's
slept with
why.
half of the PAs, half of the interns, and Emma.
So you know what, it was probably, and it's probably coming from a man thing. So like, if he didn't get upset, it's probably thinking like, because Justin's like, I already got that, so I won't. You know, maybe.
I mean, I didn't pick it up right away either. So
Right.
I attribute
I
to
imagine
Aaron's
that.
being a dog.
But
Yeah.
why did he tell? He's like, you know, I guess to have
he was
leverage.
scared.
Yeah, but hold that leverage and use it. You used it right away. You fired your missile too early, to me, in my opinion. You know what I mean? Like, oh, I don't want you guys aren't gonna do me like you did Rhonda. Okay,
You're
but
right. What
You're not
was-
on the chopping block
Thank
yet.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I didn't understand
Sounds like
that.
an MTV challenge episode, but yes. You're right. No, you're right. Why? So like he had that defensive ass comment like, I'm not Rhonda. I'm not going down lightly. Who was coming for you?
Right.
Exactly. Like, Aaron, you're probably okay.
Yeah.
You know,
no
you-
one was checking for you.
You still got a few more years in you before we come for you, so
Well, and you're the dude. You don't have. There's no one up for his position, really.
Right.
that's true. But you never know if they get together, Justin and
I-
Mary
they
Jane,
need
and
to
say,
explain
"Hey,
this, yeah.
I got a new guy. We want to bring in. Works better. Aaron's got to go." So maybe he was thinking
I
that.
guess you know what? I guess like get him out of here before it even becomes a thing. I guess that was maybe his way of thinking. I don't know.
I feel like that's gonna come back and still bite him in the butt because
I hope so.
You know, I don't think Justin. He's right now. He's supposed to be gone for a week, but I feel like he's gonna make his way back even maybe sooner, maybe 4 or 5 days. Who knows?
But what an interesting time for Mary Jane, because now she's doing all this and she's got Aaron kind of with the disdain towards her and Kara and the gossip, and I want her to just run to Lee. Like I just, you know, I know she's tough and I know she can handle a lot, but
Yeah.
it's complexing me a little
And you
bit.
know what's Cause it's funny because I guess like on my social media things that I see more people that are for Lee and then one team Lee, and they just don't like the whole dynamic of Justin. And because of Justin, like he's like Lee was the better choice. He's the nicer guy, things like that. He's the one that she could probably just do better with, settle down and things like that. But for me, I look at it like with Mary Jane and her personality. Not that Lee was too soft. But I guess he just wasn't enough of a challenge for Mary Jane. Like everything kind of came too easy. And sometimes, and a lot of people are like, well, what's wrong with you? But sometimes you just don't react well to that, or you just don't take well to too easy. You kind of want maybe a little conflict. And that comes with, self, inner self issues. But I think that's what it was with Lee.
You know what
he was
song
just too safe for her.
I love this summer or whatever. I don't know what time of the year we're in. Alicia Keys in Common, where she goes, "Oh, we got way too much in common," and it's like something along the lines of like, "Cause I'm messed up and you're messed up, so we're perfect together." I can't recall the lyrics right now, but that is what Justin gives her, and I don't know. She just hasn't really like sustained her space in New York. Like I feel like we don't ever see anything about her apartment. She doesn't have friends. It's all work and dudes. Like I really wish she has this week to kind of get her stuff together.
Yeah.
That's hopefully.
Well, maybe she needs some time because I mean she came there and just had to go to work right away. You know what I mean? Like
I think
she didn't really have a lot of time to kind of settle into New York.
She really did.
It was like move to New York and bam, because she was in the hotel for a while. It was like straight to work.
And you need to have a home identity anywhere you go, but especially in New York, that kind of thing. And remember how when we watched the Atlanta-based version of the show, like her home was like a character, I thought, like the little Post-its. And I really feel like we need that. And maybe that's one of the reasons she is sort of losing herself, Like I even looked in the background, and this is not a diss on like whoever's doing production design, but I was like, because I've lived in New York for a little bit, so I'm like, she's just not making it like that dinner party, grown up, older folk place to really like get your life together. She's not spending that time, and that's going to be a detriment at some point in the season.
I agree, because I actually just noticed that, you bringing that to my attention about the Post-its and things like that. Like that's gone, and that's one of the things like I love about her.
Everyone loved that, and the little quotes at the beginning.
But we still have that. But
did you do that? You did the little affirmation quotes or whatever?
It started working. I moved into a new apartment, and then I stopped. Maybe that's why you have to get back into your routine. I moved into a new apartment. I don't have them, and that could be it. She was thrown out of her routine. Hopefully they do bring that back, because like you said, like I think it helped her, it grounded her, because at certain times she would take one and read it, whatever she was going through, and she's not doing that.
We put so much validity in like who we're dating or who we're like breaking up with or getting with, like just let's put more validity into her putting her life together, and that's the part of the Atlanta portion that we miss quite a bit. And I think as people we got to do that. I have times where I'm like, I want to turn completely off. Like I don't want to be aspiring towards a career. I don't want to be planning a trip. I want to just like have Ronnie veg out time. And the reason I thought of that song is because I listened to that Alicia Keys song today. It's a really good song. I'm surprised it didn't do as well. Imagine we have something in common and we're both fucked up. Ooh, that is that good dirty love. I'm going home at 5 a.m. She says that in the song, That is.
You're gonna make me listen to that.
That's like the greatest song this summer. Oh yeah, well it came out before summer, but we got way too much in common.
Oh yeah.
I like that song. What was I gonna say?
I'm so off track. I'm sorry. I hijacked your show. Your fans were gonna not be happy with this.
Oh no,
pairing.
No, that'll be all right.
I
lost my thoughts. So.
Well, I don't know what's gonna go on with this whole thing. I do want to get into some predictions.
Okay, I got my thought back just real quick.
Hold on, before predictions, let's do our thoughts.
So,
regurgitate it out after the little.
Yeah, no, we'll take that back. But like you said, like Mary Jane, like not having the whole grown up thing, also, so she doesn't have friends out there. And then at one time, she kind of went out to kind of explore the world. That's where Lee came in, and then it then Justin and everything blew up your spot. So sometimes then you'll regress and like I don't really want to go out. Last time I went out, this is what happened. You know what I mean? Like kind of met a guy and things like that. But I hope that they bring her back, like just ground her, bring the Post-its back, have her go out a little bit, explore, meet some new people, because right now it is just all good day USA for her.
If Justin doesn't work, can she have some humble, I don't know if Justin's not gonna work, but if he doesn't work, can she have some humble pie and maybe think about getting back with that the not life coach, but the remember one of the earlier episodes? She was like a
like
relationship.
when she first got out there.
Yeah.
No, because Mary Jane is not ready to acknowledge her faults in relationships.
No,
because
she's
the
not.
woman was trying to kind of call her out, but tell her about herself, and she, rejected it. She didn't really want to hear it, and she didn't take to it. So I don't think that's going to work for her still, because she's not in that mindset to realize why she's like making these decisions and choosing the men she's choosing.
So what will make her change? Her being on the top, but being so dark and isolated? Maybe.
Maybe when she realized how lonely it is at the top, there's nobody up there for her.
Well, especially if you've been messing up relationships or whatever.
That's true.
So
Because the whole office ain't feeling it right now.
Yeah, I don't know what it's going to take, because I thought Lee would be the one, like the reflection and be
Exactly.
the thing that makes her, that light bulb go off and make her change, but it hasn't, so I don't know. I think all hope is lost with Mary Jane in relationships.
But we still like it and we still watch it. I'm not giving up
Yeah.
on this show.
Oh,
I
no,
think
not
it's
at
still really good. The quotes are always inspiring, and anytime you see a woman be so strong, but also have to deal with all the things that come with it, like that's great. It's a lot of great topics, a lot of great issues, you know.
Yeah.
So
Definitely. Yeah. Well, let's get into some predictions.
oh no!
now,
Look at that music.
your
I
AfterBuzz
mean,
TV.
lights blinded by the light.
I'm loving that. So, what are some of our predictions for next week's episode? Because we saw, it looked pretty good. We saw a little bit of. Did I even write it down? Nope, I'm doing it. But it did look pretty good.
It was a very quick prediction. It was very.
Yeah, it was like a snap. But what are some of our predictions with Mary Jane and Justin for next week? He's going to be in Kansas. Do we think he's coming back? What's going on? Ronnie, you want to kick it off?
I'm not much of a prediction person, but I will give theories of what I would like to see happen. I guess that's a prediction adjacent. I really want to see Kara. I'm really like hurt in her shoes, you know? So I do think this is her hometown. I think she's had a couple things that opened up her mind too. Like when you're down for somebody for so many years and have came up with somebody as she did with Mary Jane, and I think the hurt's gonna open up even more. Like right now it's like a soft little wound, but I feel like the more Kara thinks about it, the more she's gonna be like, I mean, I don't use the B word, but this bitch, we've been together on this journey, and she was willing to sacrifice it all. Like, I feel like it's going to hurt her more as time goes by. With that said, Kara has her own little journey to get through. You know, remember when she wasn't at the producer desk? You know, she was fired for that moment. I liked her engaging with those young girls that are not. Like, Kara is, I was going to tell you guys this the times I've watched your after show. Kara is so put together and she fights so strongly for what she believes in, is a good mother and all these things. I really want her to go and sort of get the fun out of Orlando. So Orlando represents something she doesn't really like, which is like, you know, why is this dude sleeping on the couch?
Right.
And why are his co-baseball players with the hose?
Right.
But there might be something good out of that right now, especially when you just gave so much to a friend for how many years they've been friends.
Yeah.
I kind of want to see Kara let loose. So I'm really like going to the next episode, less of a Mary Jane, but more like, what is Kara? What is Lisa Vidal's character? What's going to happen there? I would like to see that.
Yeah, I agree. I would like to see Kara let loose. For me, I think, and we touched on this a little bit with the PR girl Aaliyah and Mary Jane, I think they're going to grow closer and hopefully build a relationship. And then that goes back to what we were talking about earlier when I was like, she doesn't have any friends, she doesn't go out, so maybe this can help Mary Jane start a social life again, because this is important. We love that side of her, the anchor side, the career woman, that strong woman, but you need a life outside of work, you know, and
Yes.
especially with women, because it's always presented that, you know, a powerful woman, you can't have it all, you know what I mean? So if it's like, you kind of have to be about work and then that's it, you know? So I want to hopefully see that relationship grow. And
Do you think-
Mary
do you
Jane
think-
just like,
Do you think she'll
Get a
Mary? I'm sorry. Do you think
social
Mary Jane will make it more of a mentor-mentee thing? Because I want it to be an actual friendship. I don't want
I
Mary
want it
Jane
to be
to
an
get.
actual
Me too.
friendship. I think the girl is a little bit younger, but I see that. I think that Mary Jane, like, she acknowledges her what's the word I'm looking for? I don't know, but she just kind of like her wit and her strength and her creativeness and everything about her, about Aaliyah. Like, she sees that she's on top of her game,
Right.
and she doesn't necessarily need a lot of mentoring. Now, Mary Jane, she kind of has that in her, so she might just do it
Naturally,
naturally, but I don't think she's gonna kind of go into the situation like a mentor thing. She'll have her moments where she'll just drop a few dimes, but
Like, we don't know. Maybe what's her name? Leah?
Aaliyah.
Maybe she has like a daughter or something like that. Like, I think this is gonna be a great week for Mary Jane not to be with Justin, not to be with Kara, of course, but like to like look into life, and maybe she sees a friend or a coworker and like, wow, here I'm fighting for all this stuff, but like, I didn't know Aaliyah, my coworker, I didn't know she had a daughter, and come into some like authentic life, because she doesn't have that with her family. It's always good to move away from your family. We know this.
Yes.
but it's also always good to have a social life too. So
very true.
yes, I want to see her
Elmarie knows.
back in Atlanta, she had all of her friends, even though there was a lot of dysfunctional relationships with those friendships, but she still had those nights out, those dinners like you were talking about. So I want to see her, just be able to kind of relax and not have to be, Mary Jane Paul all the time, and get to be MJ or Pauletta.
Oh, guys, where's her brother? Did I sleep on something? Where's
we still haven't seen
We
him.
don't know just yet, but we know he's still in the area and still New York.
Yeah, the young brother. Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
We haven't seen him.
Right.
But there was another point that I was gonna make with that. Oh, so also with Justin being gone and Kara being upset with MJ right now, I kind of hope she doesn't start to spiral.
Right.
Like kind of either out of control or going down a bad path, because she kind of doesn't have anyone like on her side right now, or anyone to have her back. Because even when Justin comes back, he's not on her story. So now at this big old place, she's all by herself.
Right.
And not that she can't handle herself, but it gets tough when you're in a position like that and you don't have anyone by your side. You don't have anyone to have your back. So I'm just hoping that she can withstand that.
What you said just sparked an idea. Sorry. What if, like, while he's gone, she learns that she just coincidentally was attracted to him, and like now that he's out of the situation, like it turns out I wasn't really into him at all. Ooh. You know how like you run up into a thing and then you're like, because like really it was based on power. It was based on let's get Ron out, and then he had the blue eyes, and the fat ass, and they all just did their thing. So it worked. Once he's gone, I wonder if she'll like. Because that could happen.
Exactly. Yeah. Because without her seeing him for that whole week, it could happen.
Because people will fall into somebody based on like an agenda. Yeah. Like let's do we are doing this together.
Exactly. What if it was all just a worker's crush? I mean, she's there, like she said, all day, all the time. He's there all day, all the time. It could be that. Oh, that'd be something.
Right?
Oh, Lord, that's my prediction, right? Listen, I'm just gonna pick it back off of that. That she is just gonna fall out of love with Justin because he's not gonna be there for the week. Not fall out of love, but her eyes are gonna be open.
We don't know if he's straying while he's out. We still don't know much about him. Like, where does he live? Why can't we go to his house? Like, that's beyond red flag. Let's get to the bottom of this. Come on, Mary Jane, you're a journalist. You got to journalize your life. That's not a word, is it? Journalize?
No, but I like that. I feel like I'm gonna write that down. We'll post it.
Well, I mean, I had a wonderful time on this after show.
Yay.
It was definitely something fun, Ronnie. Thank you for coming
Thank you very
along.
much.
We're having a good time week in, week out. I'm one of your hosts, Howard the Third. You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook at Howard the Third. Of course, my website, howardthethird.com. Miss Elmarie, where can we find you?
And once again, like always, you guys can find me on Instagram and on Twitter. So please hit that follow button.
Howard the Third?
Howard the Third.
Oh my goodness gracious. That's pretty good. I'm a second. Well, like I'm a junior.
Right. I was gonna say you're a second. So.
Well, a second, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a junior. Anyways, randomly RJ, if you want to go on the social media thing. Thanks to our engineer Anthony for doing a good job as always.
Yes, thank you, Anthony, and thank you all who are out there listening and watching. If you're new to AfterBuzz, welcome. If you've been here before, what's up? How you doing? Of course, you can always tweet us. Use the hashtag ABTVBMJ. That's ABTVB as in boy, MJ, for us to see your tweets. And
can we sign out by saying who we are? We're Mary Jane and Paul. Can we let's all do a mock. Thank you for watching. I'm Mary Jane, Pauletta. Go, come on, they want to see you do it.
Oh my God.
No, they do.
Thank you for watching AfterBuzz TV. I'm Mary Jane Paul.
And I thank you guys for watching AfterBuzz TV. I am Mary Jane Paul. We'll see you next week. Bye, guys.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.